mother rolled my unruly, straight as a poker chestnut mane on tiny pink curlers that tangled unmercifully when she tried to remove them. I hated it, but did grasp the concept that beauty often comes at a high price, even at a tender age. Keeping my screams to a minimum, I watched in the mirror as Mama perfected my curls and pronounced me good to go. Then I jumped into my adorable swimsuit and scurried to the park, giddy with excitement and intoxicated at the thought of my impending coronation. It had all started with the gold lame swimsuit. I was 6 at the time and had just polished off first grade with a flourish. Straight A's and lavish praise from my teacher. As a reward, my mother took me downtown on the 13 Lauderdale Waldorf, our neighborhood bus. We had no car. And let me pick out something new. I squealed when I spotted the shiny swimsuit glittering in the store front window. Mama flinched. Not a fan of water, she rarely let me near any. The bathtub was my only source of aquatic recreation, except for the rare occasion when I wore Mama down with incessant begging and was allowed to play under the water hose with Barbara Jean, my next-door neighbor. Her dad would squirt us silly in the sweltering Delta heat, a steamy signature of torrid Memphis summers. No doubt this suit would never see much action, but I wanted it nonetheless. Reluctantly, Mama had asked the sales clerk to remove the swimsuit from the window. I knew she was hoping it wouldn't fit. But I had her on this one. Anything I wanted, she had said, and a promise was a promise. I lived in that thing for the next 3 months. At summer's end, Mama saw a sign posted at the local drugstore announcing a children's beauty pageant at Southside Park where Little Miss Southside would be crowned. For reasons I'll never understand, Mama was intrigued by the idea and thought I should enter. Might as well put that swimsuit to good use before I outgrew it, right? When we told Daddy, he was all over it. My daddy was of the opinion that I could do anything and frequently told me so. According to him, I was the cutest, smartest little chick ever to swim the birth canal. So I'm thinking this beauty pageant should be a piece of cake for a kid with my credentials and a gold lame swimsuit. Besides, the idea of having my own crown was really starting to grow on me. When we got to Southside Park that morning, it was already swarming with little girls. I surveyed the competition, still feeling great about myself, until my eyes fell on Mary Alice, a tiny 4-year-old cherub of a girl. The late afternoon sun seemed to revel in this kid, turning her silver blonde Shirley Temple curls into spun gold and her exquisite snowy white teeth into tiny pearls. A regular John Benet Ramsey minus the spray tan and the hair extensions. Dimples so deep you could plant crops in them. I could go on, but you get the picture. To this day, I can still see her standing there rocking her cool turquoise swimsuit while mine went from lame to lame in the twinkling of a big blue eye. My goofy gap-toothed grin quickly faded. I could feel my elusive crown slipping away. Soon it would be perched high atop Mary Alice's smug little head in a nest of golden ringlets, and you could just tell she knew it. Of course you might be wondering, why was she any different from me? After all, I too had arrived at the park cloaked in delusions of grandeur. Well, the difference is that she was right and I wasn't. Still, my daddy hadn't been lying to me. To him, I was the cutest little girl ever. He just failed to mention that the whole world wouldn't be viewing me through his eyes. It simply didn't matter whose eyes you were seeing Mary Alice through. There was no denying her extreme physical beauty. Helen Keller could have picked up on it. How could any child be that beautiful? It wasn't fair. It also wasn't relevant. She was there, and she was clearly going home with my crown. Back then, there was no win, place, and show, no runners-up. Just one glorious winner in a sea of pathetic losers. When Mary Alice's name was called, some of the other girls started to cry. Not me. I'd seen it coming a mile away. I sucked it up and moped home with my loser tail tucked tightly between my spindly little stork-like legs. I sulked to my bedroom, ripped off that gold lame swimsuit, and threw it in the corner. It shimmered in the late afternoon sunlight drifting through my bedroom window, mocking me from the floor. It would be decades before I realized that Mary Alice may have walked away with the crown that day, but I turned out to be the real winner. I had learned an invaluable lesson. I was not going to get by on my looks. Losing that pageant had taught me to look inward for my self-worth before I even knew what self-worth was. After an hour or so of wallowing in my shame spiral, I left the sanctuary of my soft pink chenille-clad bed, picked up that swimsuit, dulled now by the agony of defeat, and buried it in my bottom dresser drawer. Then I bolted from the room and ran to Daddy, flying into his arms, giggling with abandonment as he drowned me in a sea of kisses. Yeah.